You're listening to the Productive Therapist Podcast, the world's greatest and most brilliant resource for busy therapists who'd rather be laying on a beach in Hawaii. Every week we share helpful tips on where to put what, how to do this, that and the other, and the best way to get your ducks in a row. And now here's your host, licensed therapist, head nerd, and productivity Yoda, Uriah Guilford.
Today I have the privilege of talking to Chris McDonald, who is a holistic licensed therapist who also owns a group online practice. She's a 200-hour registered yoga therapist. She's also certified in brain spotting and offers gentle yoga to clients in session, as well as workshops and private yoga sessions. She specializes in treatment of anxiety, depression, trauma, and grief for young adults specifically. She also offers therapy for therapists and is the host of the Holistic Counseling Podcast. Her favorite holistic daily routines include yoga and meditation. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Chris McDonald. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show.
So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to meet you. And just before I hit record, we were chatting about how great it is to meet people in the therapist community at large who are doing fun and interesting things. And so it's wonderful to get to know you.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad. Podcasting is one of those modalities that we get to meet so many people we would never meet in normal life, right?
It's true. It's wonderful. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of have an open-ended conversation about productivity and being therapists and how to possibly approach productivity from different perspectives, specifically like a holistic lens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure I'll share some tips and you can share some tips and I've got some questions for you. So we'll jump right into it. That's okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So I'm curious what you have quite a bit going on. I'm wondering what kinds of things do you have that you juggle in your daily and weekly life that requires some sort of focus on routines and productivity? What have you got going on?
Oh, yeah. Yes, for sure. So I have this podcast called the Holistic Counseling Podcast, which helps therapists deepen their knowledge of holistic modalities and build their practice with confidence. And so I make my Mondays my podcast day. So that's when I record episodes, I guest on other podcasts, and do anything related to that. And of course, some of my private practice kind of sneaks in at times and not 100%, as you know. I have one other clinician working for me in my group practice, and I have a small practice called Path to Hope Counseling that I own, and that I had that open since 2015. So managing that in addition to a podcast can be a lot in itself.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And then there's the rest of life, right? Outside of work, too.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, just that juggle of everything.
Are you the type of person that likes doing more than one thing? Is that something that you gravitate towards?
Sometimes I have to, but I find if I have too many things I'm juggling, that's when my stress level goes up and my anxiety goes up. And I think that's one thing I learned from your podcast, too, about not overscheduling. Because that's my tendency to be like, okay, well, I got this and this and this and, try to block too much. And then I'm just like, by the end of the day, if I don't feel like I had gotten hardly anything done, then I'm like stressed out and feel worried about the next day and the rest of the week. But yeah, so that's what I've learned from my mistakes with that too, to schedule less to do.
This thing called balance is hard to find.
I know.
It's like elusive,
sense
right?
of accomplishment, right?
Yes. I personally I get excited about ideas, and I have a couple businesses, of course. And so running two businesses is challenging.
It is.
In and of itself. So I have all these ideas and things that that I want to pursue, but then I also really value like open space and free time. So like my idea week has at least 2, if not 3 days with 0 meetings and just the ability to focus on creative projects. But then I'll think of something else to do that I want to start. Then that
I do the same thing.
Easily takes up my time. Yeah. So you can relate.
Yeah. It's that clarity and focus. Like, how do we find that? And I think if you're a creative person, because I come up with so many ideas, which I use another app for that too, where I have to write down ideas, because sometimes I'm in that space and I'll be like, okay, wow, that would be really cool. Hang on, let me save that somewhere. And my problem before, I put it on my phone notes or I put it on a Post-it note, and then I have a pile of, I'm like, what am I doing? I use a lot of apps to stay organized. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about that one, because that's really interesting. Yeah, you're right. Creative entrepreneurs, creative therapists of any kind, we don't have a lack of ideas, but we might have a lack of focus and clarity. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that and ask you about that. So I'm kind of curious, like with all the things you have going on now and even in the past, what challenges have you had with trying to keep yourself focused and like keep your tasks and your projects organized?
I have really battled with trying to find the right system, to be honest with you. It's been a long haul of trying different planners. I'm more old school. I like paper. I've resisted online things and apps for a long time, but I've tried both. I tried online things. I've tried all different kinds of planners. And for me, some of these planners, when they have all these like, oh, let's put our long-term goals and let's write about this and journal about this. I don't do that. I would only use them for to-do lists and very specific things, and I needed something basic. I just was having a lot of trouble finding something that worked. So, and I resisted structuring my time because I know time blocks you're supposed to, let me work from 1 to 2 on this project. And I resisted that until recently. And then I have started to do that more often, to schedule time blocks for certain things. And that's made a huge difference.
That's good to know. So are you currently using a combination of paper solutions and then digital ones?
No, once I found the structured app that I use, that's made the huge difference, because I like apps. I like being on my phone, and what I do is I time block things. So I'll look at the day and just, what do I need to work on? What are my 3 goals, the 3 things? And depending on how long those things will take, I try to guesstimate in my mind. And then what are my free times that I put, and I put those in for certain times. And that's, I got rid of my paper planner.
You did. Wow, that's huge.
Made a huge difference.
Yeah, that's great. I'm also,
that's huge.
I'm like you in the sense that I do like paper, and I like the experience of writing on paper. So, I'll never give it up. I like a good pen and a good notebook. So I keep that around.
I still have a couple things I write down, like as if I don't have time to put it in my phone, like in between sessions or something else going, I'll still write it down, but then I transfer it the same day. Cause my problem is I'll have like 10 pieces of paper and notes. And then I get overwhelmed because I'm like, I got all this stuff to organize. So
I guarantee you the people listening to this right now can relate.
They're like looking at all their notes in front of them right now.
And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or this idea, or that thing that I was supposed to do. Yeah, keeping it in one place. And honestly, from my perspective, I talk about like personalized productivity, because your system may or may not work for me. Your brain might work different than mine. So each person kind of has to figure out the set of strategies and approaches that work for them. So that is 100% valid. So tell me about the apps that you use. So I'm curious about that. You mentioned at least 2. So tell me what's in
the
your
structured app. Yeah. So it lists, you put it in for the day of what you want to get done that day. And I like it. And I don't know, I believe you got to find what works for you, but I really like it because once you're done, you press a little circle and it checks it off, but then it crosses it out. For some reason, that's satisfying. For me,
I like that.
To have both. And so I'm like, I almost want to add things so I can cross more things off. I love it so much. And I can see how accomplished I am for the day. I'm just looking at it now. And then at the end of the day, I go through, okay, if something's not done, you can reschedule something. So I'll reschedule it for the next day and see when I have an opening to work on whatever it is I didn't get done. Yeah. So the other app is,
Can we talk about structure for a second?
Sure.
So I did actually download it yesterday. I'd never heard of this particular one.
Oh, okay.
And I just started using it. You can start to use it for free. I downloaded the version on my iPhone. I think it has an Android version. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah. Hopefully it does. But I like that when I first downloaded the app and set it up, it said, what time do you wake up and what time do you go to sleep? So it actually puts that in there, which is kind of nifty. And it reminds
you if you do the pay version.
Okay, right.
Time for bed.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So it keeps you on track. And it seems like it's the kind of app that sort of takes your tasks and combines them with your calendar, so you can kind of see everything together and then kind of organize it in a structured way. I like that. And how is that different than what you used to do?
It's all in one place. I feel like I was more all over the place because it seemed like it was hard for me to pick one area. So this just kind of puts it all together, like, 'cause it puts my regular calendar, if even personal things, into it, integrates it, and I have it all in one spot. And I've just kind of made this intention to, at the end of the day, to transfer things over, because that's the problem I had before. My paper calendar, by the end of the week, I had all these blank spots of things I didn't get done. But then I would wait till the end of the week, and then I was like overwhelmed and like, oh gosh, I don't want to transfer everything to the next week. So now that I'm doing it each day, then it's been more helpful. And I think that's the thing people got to realize, that to be really organized, especially if you have a lot going on, you got to take the time to put into it to really get yourself each day organized, because otherwise it builds up.
No, that makes so much sense. I have a question for you about this app. You've been using it for a while, so you know more than I do for sure.
Yeah.
In their marketing, interestingly enough, a couple of their testimonials, they didn't mention you at all. No, I'm kidding. But they did have a couple different things that they put on their website, and these were testimonials. And one person says, I have ADHD and this app helped me a lot. And then another testimonial was someone with autism. And I thought, this is interesting. And I was wondering to myself, maybe you'll have an idea about this. I don't know. But I wonder if this app versus other apps might work better for folks who are have more neurodiversity. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. No, I worked a lot with clients with ADHD and autism, actually, and anxiety. So yeah, I think this could be beneficial. I haven't recommended it to a client. I've actually only been using it for a couple months, but I really think it could be, because it's visual too, because it has all these different colors and color coordinated things. And to me, that's just, it's more, I'm more likely to look at it too, because it's engaging.
Right. So it keeps everything in one place, and it's visually interesting. Yeah.
And it has reminders too. So it'll say episode recording with Uriah at 5:00. So, it keeps me in line too.
That's wonderful. And then the other app you were going to mention for keeping ideas, what is that one?
It's called and I'm not sure if it's Mindly, Mindly. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's really fun because you can do it by categories, and it has it does, and I'll show you because it's hard to describe. But
it's hard to describe, yeah.
It is hard to describe if I'm just doing audio, but it has you put an idea and it has a circle. And then you put different ideas. Yeah. So like this was different solo episodes I want to do for my podcast. So then I'll just add them to the circle, and it's kind of a visual thing. So then I do it by different topics and put the ideas in there to organize them. Or like I'll do for TikToks, I'll put ideas in there. Sounds
like that would be really good for brainstorming.
Yeah,
in general.
It is totally. Yeah, it's all brain-based kind of way of looking at things too, I think.
Oh, okay. So this is technically a mind mapping app, which is really
mind mapping. That's what it is. Yes.
I don't think a lot of people use these types of apps. Yeah. Maybe in certain industries they do, maybe not therapists, but they're really helpful if you're a more visual person. And I actually really like the way this one looks. Yeah, right. This one uses like circles, a lot of circles.
The circles,
connected circles. That's cool. Okay, I'm downloading it right now.
Yeah. So if you have a main topic in the middle, like if I have my podcast episode ideas, and then I can click on the outside circle and then put additional ideas for that one.
Right.
So it's kind of it is the brainstorm thing, but then you can expand it as much as you want or as little as you want.
Let me ask you a specific question about that app. So when you have an idea or something you want to remember that's not for now, but it's for later, do you go and open up a certain file in Mindly and then add it to that sort of mind map?
Yep.
You do. Okay. So you've got one for podcast episodes and
one for podcast episodes, one TikTok. For yoga course that I'm going to be doing. Okay. Yeah. So whatever comes up. Yeah. Because things come up, and I think a lot of therapists might identify with this too. Even things to use with clients. Oh, that worked really well today. Let me write that down. And of course, if you wait, it's gone. Right.
It's true.
So getting it down, or you realize you're like, wow, what I said today was really good. I could use that again. Let me write that down. So and again, what I used to do, I'd either put it in my notes on my phone or I put it on little notepads, and I had it both places. I'd lose stuff, and it was overwhelming my system. So
our brains are really not set up for that kind of random access, of databases. I mean, some people are better at that than others. I'm terrible at it. That's why I use technology to supplement.
Oh, yeah. And especially if you can just keep it all in one place too, because now I won't allow myself, because I was even putting files on my computer, but then I'd lose them. I'm like, oh gosh, I can't do it this way anymore.
I'm so glad that you found some systems that work for you. That's all organization is about, is just knowing where to find the things that you need when you need them.
You need them. Yeah.
That's really it.
Oh.
I think one of my superpowers is organizing information. I don't know why. It just makes me so happy to have it, dialed in the way that I want it dialed in. And it makes life easier. It is. Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm curious, did you started your group practice in 2021? Is that correct?
No, actually.
No, that was your podcast.
That was my podcast. Yeah.
Right.
No, I started a group in 2018 and just only kept it really small. I don't really want a big practice. And now I'm moving more in the podcasting realm and expanding with that.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to chat with you about how therapists might think about productivity and organization from a more holistic perspective. Because I know that's a big focus of what you do and what you talk about and how you train therapists. What can you share about that?
And I think we started to talk about this before we hit record too.
Right.
How important it is that what you do outside of your job, career, whatever you want to call it, is so important. Impacts your productivity, your overall well-being. This is all connected, right? If we look at holistically, mind, body, spirit, if any one of those are weak or we have issues or problems, then it's going to impact the others, and impact, of course, can crack your day with your job. So I think it's so important to figure out, and I put this in my schedule as well, when am I going to do my morning routine? What days can I do that? Because some days obviously are more difficult, but I do meditation, yoga most days, or I do a workout. So getting some movement is so important to my focus. And let me tell you, days that I don't do that or do yoga or breath work or something, that I am much more scattered. I'm more overwhelmed. I am very type A, and I can keep going and not take a break, but I'm much more centered and more likely to have a calmer day if I do those practices in the morning. And I rearranged my whole private practice and podcasting around self-care. So Monday nights I do yoga. So tonight is my yoga night. And the only way I don't do it is if I'm sick. So I don't give in to excuses. It's part of my lifestyle. And I work out around my business is around my workout schedule too. So I don't see clients till later Mondays, Fridays, because I work out. But all of that impacts how we present to clients in our sessions, how we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, it makes so much sense that you'll actually get more done and be more effective at the things that you do when you pay attention to all your needs, not just certain areas, all of your physical and spiritual and otherwise needs. Yeah. Some of us are better at that than others, I suppose. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the more ambitious folks can just move forward without paying attention. Like I used to definitely work too long until I ate lunch, just as an example.
Oh,
right?
See, I can't do
2
that.
o'clock. Why am I
schedule your lunch? Yeah.
Yeah. Why am I not feeling great? Oh, it's because you haven't eaten lunch.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you are an entrepreneur, that's really just like laser focus. It's harder, right, to take those breaks. But on the app, you can also put your break in there. It'll remind you lunchtime.
Yeah, some of us need an app or something to remind us, like, hey, you stop working. You should go and take a walk.
Or another thing too is having an end time. It's important too, to say, what is my definite, because sometimes, and unfortunately I'm guilty of this too, that sometimes I like, okay, well, I still got to do this. Let me prepare for the episode tomorrow that I'm doing, or prepare for this session that there was something I was going to talk to this client about. I was going to look up. And I'm like, no, this is my end time. I need to stick to it.
Yes.
And have a ritual to end it too. I just interviewed somebody about breath work, and she said, yeah, one thing to end your day with is to do some breath work of 5 minutes. Then that's a good transition. I said, I'm going to write that down. And you would think I would have done that by now, but no, I haven't. So I think that, finding something that works for you to make the transitions can make a big difference.
How do you think a therapist in private practice who's very busy and somewhat overwhelmed and probably overworking can figure out what they should focus on to take a broader perspective of their day, their time, their energy? What would you recommend?
I think sometimes too, just the way you frame it too with a lot of these practices, because a lot of people say, I don't have time. Everybody's got time. It's what you prioritize too. But even incorporating some of these and things you're already doing, like taking mindfulness, if you have to drive to the office, doing your mindfulness in the car, just feeling the steering wheel, noticing the clouds in the sky, hopefully not too long, like if you're driving, but noticing colors, shapes, right? We can still do those grounding things, mindfulness things that while we're already doing something else. It doesn't have to be a separate practice. Just noticing your breath while you're in the car or waiting in line, like at the grocery store, instead of standing there impatiently shifting from leg to leg, just taking a moment just to notice your feet on the floor, notice how the basket feels beneath your hand. And those are all important practices too. But figuring out what is something I can do that's going to care for me, mind, body, spirit each day.
Sounds like part of that is definitely slowing down and paying attention to yourself, all aspects of yourself and what you need in the moment and in your life right now. I like that. I recently started doing the Miracle Morning again, which I've done off and on over time. And the model is it's called Life Savers, with Savers being the acronym, but part of it is silence and affirmation and visualization. Those three aspects I've been particularly benefiting from getting back into that, because oftentimes I would wake up and I would do my morning routine, and then I would pretty quickly end up in front of my computer starting to work. And so now I'm sort of making that time period longer where I'm actually doing some morning practices that are more focused on my own well-being and groundedness and all of that. And it's really been nice. It's really been good, because the work will always be there, right?
It will be there.
And how we show up to the work. And I think that is
putting it, and putting it away. I think that's hard, especially if you have a lot of things going on, to disconnect. That is a mindful practice I call it putting on the shelf. It's going to still be there in the morning. I'm going to disconnect and let it be there. Because otherwise it can pull us in. Let me check that. Oh, I didn't send that email. Let me go send it. Right.
Putting it on the shelf. I like that. Like literally closing the laptop and putting it on the shelf, and then also metaphorically. Yeah.
And I tell clients, because some of them, well, can I just go and reach up on the shelf and take it down? Like, no, put a lock on it. Just put 2 locks.
You might need to upgrade your visualization to a more secure
more like a container exercise, right? We got to really make sure that it's we can't get to it.
I love working from home and coming through the pandemic, even have done a lot more of that, like most of us have. And just in the last 2 weeks, I started walking to a co-working space that's about 10 minutes from my house, and I got a membership there. And it's been really nice, because I'm actually working less from my home office and more outside of the home. And it's actually, I didn't think I needed this or wanted this, but it's helping me create better boundaries between the two, which
I love that.
Apparently I needed. Yeah, it's been great.
Good idea.
If you're listening to this and that resonates, I think you should take some action on that, because it's easy to get those.
I work from home. I know.
Super blurred.
Yeah, it really can. Yeah. Too much.
Definitely. Some of us have to reassess, sort of post pandemic, if you will, if our current schedule and current routines are really working for us, if they need to be tweaked.
Yeah, exactly. And they might have to be, because now
this is a great conversation. I like.
Yeah. What I've realized is I have to get out more, because and I think a lot of clients and other people feel this way too. I got kind of sucked into being at home too much. And, it wasn't until recently I even went to a yoga studio again. I hadn't done that since before the pandemic started, and started to do in-person yoga. And I realized I have to get out each day. I have to at least go to Walgreens or something to see other people face to face, because I do all video sessions, and, I'm doing more networking in person. So making those leaps of, okay, I got to have some time outside of my office and outside of my work.
That's
So
really
important.
good. It's good on
Yeah.
the human connection level and also just the physical aspect of
Yes.
changing your environment and getting out.
Yes.
That's good.
For balance, for
Well,
sure.
these are great ideas. I appreciate you sharing
Yeah.
all this and helping me
Oh,
think
yeah.
about my habits and routines as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if
for
people are
sure.
interested in what you have to offer, therapists or anybody who's listening to this,
Yeah.
where can they find out more about you and your work?
Well, interestingly enough, I had my 100th episode last week. So if you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend with Gordon Brewer. So we talk about creating balance in your life as a therapist, which that's a challenge, but it's an awesome episode. We have chock full of different tips for you, really hands-on things that you can do to help create more balance between work and personal life. And that's holisticcounselingpodcast.com or on Apple Podcasts.
That's fantastic. Congrats on 100 episodes. That's a big
Thank you.
milestone. Well, thank you for your time and I hope you have a
Yeah.
wonderful day.
Thanks, you too.